it's like, wow, man, why did my whole computer, I'll wait till it shows back up, which they probably already, I don't see it yet, but I'm sure it's going to show up soon.
Yeah, I've been having connection problems all night. I've been watching my bar and it's been going red a lot.
And there it goes. Boom! Hello, everybody. I know that I was just talking, and yeah, my whole computer just locked down. I mean, completely froze. All I did was hit the Windows key. That's all I hit to go and try and get Minuteman's winners form, and it died. It just, I was like, okay, that's fine. I couldn't even go to my task manager to fix it. So it was done. So I was like, all right, whatever. But I couldn't just leave y'all like that. I was like, wow, that's a bad way to leave the show. But we can try and do the Minuteman codes. I'm scared to even start another program at this point. My computer's so screwed up. You know, I've never seen my computer locked down like that. That was a first. So I got to find out why it did that.
Yeah, I can't help you out with Nightbot.
It's booting up now. Boot the Nightbot back up. That was a Scuba Doo for sure. Exactly, Dave. It was. I was being sabotaged. Hey, maybe I did get sabotaged, Steven. I don't know. Anything's possible.
The juice.
Do what about the juice?
At least you didn't spill the juice.
No, I didn't spill the juice. I've been doing really good with that tonight. I ran out of Nilla nuts. I had to make some more. It already looks well steeped, and that's only after 1 day of steeping, but I got my secret techniques to make that steep fast. So that's why that's like that. Top chatter is Aries JJ, my bot says. That means Aries has talked more than anybody. Okay, there we go.
Aries has a lot to say.
Yeah, Aries has a lot to say. I mean, you know, he can't get on and do live he can't do his live show anymore, but he can talk his tail off. Take no acts. Let's go back to the music. I want to get things back right. I'm gonna jump way down the list, probably past where I need to be, but I don't care. Let's go to number 70. Why not? Turn the music back on, back down though. There we go.
I agree, Paul.
We did get a scuba spill, kinda.
Okay.
Computer issues. I know, right, Steven? I'm like, man, why did my computer just die? I don't deal with that. I don't usually have computer issues. A lot of other casters have computer issues. I don't. That was a first for me, but if I wasn't trying to click on the Windows button, that would have been fine.
So they want to know how you steep.
You want to know steep secrets. Let's see how I can explain steep secrets. There's lots of ways people steep their juice. I have the way I normally steep something.
No, Demellen. No.
So say I make now this, like I said, this is 1 day steeping, right? So what I normally do is after I make this juice, I will go get some very, very hot water, and I will let this sit in there for about, well, first you shake it up really good. Obviously you have to do that first. Then I go let this sit in some very hot water for about 10 minutes. And then very next thing I do is I get this, take it out, I open up the top, and the air that's in here already is basically the air of whatever liquid you have in there. So I will flush that air out. I'll squeeze out the air that's in there to bring in fresh air, right? I'll squeeze it a couple times. It lets the air out that's in the bottle and bring in fresh air. Close this off, shake it up. And what that does is that puts all the fresh air down into the juice, right? Let this sit for a few minutes. I'll open this back up, squeeze out the fresh air, squeeze out the air, bring in fresh air, shake it again. Let it sit overnight. The next morning, I do the same thing. I just open it, squeeze out the air, let in the fresh air, and then now I already have some very dark juice. This was made yesterday. And it's only 6 milligrams, so that's a pretty dark gold color, and it already tastes very good. A demilinator. I know, right, Zen? I need a demilinator. Well, thanks, white guy. I don't think that was the best drone footage in the world. I did go today live and film a church and then a house way up on the mountain. I was kind of worried because, you know, 400 is the legal limit to fly your drone, right? But there's a loophole in that. If you're within a structure or building, then you're allowed to go 400 feet above said structure. So a mountain is basically that said structure, or I'm above ground level. So as long as I'm flying along the tree line of the mountain, I was able to go up. And then at the top of that mountain was a house, so I'm allowed to go to 400 feet above that house. The top of the mountain was 600 feet. I was already well above the 400 feet, but technically I wasn't 400 feet off the ground. I was only 400 feet from where I first took off. So, but it was a pretty house. I filmed that, and then I flew back down to the church, kind of did a loop around the steeple, and then landed, and that was it. But it was cool. It was something I didn't want to miss, because, you know, when I take the drone, I usually take the drone to work with me, because you never know what you're going to see. And if I see something really cool, I will pull my butt over and drone it. Now, if there's emergency workers out there or something, I'm not going to do that, because you don't want to get in trouble with those guys, because if you try to impede them at all with your drone, they'll get really mad. What if it runs out of gas? Well, the good thing is it doesn't use gas, it uses battery power. But if it's about to run out of battery, I know it. I have a display on my remote that says, hey, you have such and such amount of battery. If it gets low on battery, it automatically returns home. If I get below 20%, it's going to say, hey, you need to come back home. Well, I'm not going to say 20%, because the drone, the software that they use is actually smart. If you fly really far out, it knows, hey, you use this much battery to get this far, it's going to take you that much battery to get back. So if you fly really far out, it's got a timer at the top that shows how much time you need to be able to make it home, and do you have enough battery power. So if you go past that to where your home goes past the time that it takes to get back, it's going to say, hey, you only have enough battery power to make it home. I suggest you turn around, and then you do that, and you're good. If you ignore that, you may end up lying in ocean somewhere. Well, depending on where you're at. Yeah, $65 drone will get you into the hobby. But if you want something really nice, you're going to have to pay more money.
No, they're talking about a sonic cleaner.
Oh, a sonic cleaner. Okay. There's a lot of crappy sonic cleaners out there, too.
Yeah, I got my sonic cleaner off of Amazon. It was one of that, best deal.
I got a message when I got knocked offline, I got a message from Coilmaster. And all it is showing a couple of muscle arms. That's all it shows. So I don't know if that means, hey, give something away, or Coilmaster's still strong. I don't know. Yes, I have the Mavic Pro, Brittany. Okay, this is every time I hit Messenger on my phone, it jumps right back to my home screen. So not only does my computer have problems, my phone has problems. Thank you, phone. All right.
You can have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just screwed no matter which way I turn, apparently. I don't know what 700 pounds is, TBD, in US dollars. Basically, for just the drone and the remote control is $1,000 US. If you want the Fly More package, which I highly suggest, it's $1,300. The Fly More package comes with 2 extra batteries, a car charger, a battery, whatchamacallit adapter, and then some other adapter, and a bunch of spare props. So it's worth it to pay the extra and a case to carry the drone in. So it's worth it to pay the extra $300 just to get all that extra stuff. But if you would just want the drone and one battery, $1,000. Yep.
How is it for learning to fly?
I will tell you what. You could have almost zero drone experience and still fly this without a problem. Number one, when you first get it, it asks you, hey, do you want to do beginner mode or not? You can tell it to do beginner's mode, which basically, unless you fly 30 meters away and 30 to 50 meters height. Can I race it? Well, DeMillan, that's a good question. Most of the race drones out there, some of them do almost 100 miles an hour. The fastest I can make that drone, even in sport mode, is between 40 and 60 miles an hour. And that's only if I got a headwind going. If I don't, I can't get above 40. I can do it with virtual reality. I got the goggles. I got DJI goggles. I'll show y'all. They're not mine, but I do have some DJI goggles. These things are huge. Here's the DJI goggles. These things flip up, you know, when you're wearing them. You flip this down, and then you get to look through these nice goggles right here. So I can see everything the drone does. And this over here is a touchpad. So you move your fingers down, and that's how you control stuff. And it's got a button here, and then it's got buttons under here, and then a button here. And then this is just your IPD, your interpupillary distance, or whatever. Whatever they call that.
It's not a bad price, PDD.
If it's $944.72, that's a good price. Yeah, the goggles are huge. 40 miles an hour, I agree, white guy. 40 miles an hour is pretty fast for a drone. Racing drones are different than the Mavic. The Mavic is made for cinematic footage, right? That's why it's got a 3-axis gimbal. Racing drones don't have a 3-axis gimbal. They're made to fly fast and do flips and loops and all that. I can't do loops with my Mavic, and I can't do weird, crazy stunts with it. I can turn fast and stuff, but it's made to take really good video, which it does very well. Now, if you're at it just for video and you're not worried about convenience or size, then I would go with the Phantom 4 or the Phantom 4 Pro, either one. The Phantom 4 and the Pro both have not only a bigger field of view, but they have a better camera. They both do 4K, but the Phantom 4 does 4K at even a better frame rate, and it has a bigger field of view, so it's obviously got the best camera. But for the convenience factor of the Mavic being so small to pack up, I mean, it literally is about the size of an iPhone 6 Plus. My drone is barely bigger than this when it's folded up, and I could show you all where my drone's actually, hell, I'll get the drone, I don't care. My drone and everything that I carry with me is all in this little case right here. Everything.
Wow.
Remote, batteries, I got 3 batteries in there, my remote, my batteries, my sun shield, extra cords. I have this in case I fly over water. That way it will float to the top if I lose my drone in the water. Here's the drone. Let me pull it out. Alright. I'll show you how close to the size of a phone it is. Here's the drone folded up. So if I take my iPhone 6S and put over the top of it, it's barely bigger than my phone. That's how small the drone is. Now when you unfold it, obviously it's a lot bigger. So these fold out that way, these fold out this way. There's the drone unfolded. And then I have, this is covering the camera right now, but there's the camera right there. 4K camera with a 3-axis gimbal, and the gimbal lock's still on there right now. These sensors on the bottom, it has cameras right here and sensors right here. The sensors will detect how far you're off the ground. The cameras actually take pictures when you take off, so it knows where to come back and land. it uses the GPS along with those cameras to judge where it needs to come back and land. You have one side over here. This is the switch between RC and Wi-Fi, along with your SD card slot. The other side is for firmware updates and stuff like that, unless you want to do it using your phone. The battery is easy as pushing these side buttons. You pull the whole battery off. Very simple. Pop a new battery in, you're good to go. But the convenience of how small this is, you can fold this thing up and basically carry it in a decent coat pocket. But it's very small. I mean, that's small. It would be a giant mod. I mean, if you were vaping that would be a big mod. But for a drone, and then there's sensors in the front right there that detects, you know, if it's going to run into something. It only has forward-facing sensors and downward sensors. So if it's nighttime, it's not going to see you. It will run into you. If it's daytime and you're not in sport mode, it will see you and it'll stop about 10 feet away before it ever hits you. If you are in sport mode, which is the fast mode, it turns those sensors off. So you can really, is it real carbon fiber? Those carbon fiber, I'm sorry, that white guy, I should have said that. These are stickers on here. I put those stickers on myself. The drone does not come with those stickers. The drone is normally, there's a gray color around here somewhere, but I covered that. That's what color the drone is normally. But I got stickers all over this drone. There's one right here. There's a spot. That's what color it is. But these stickers are so cheap. I wanted to put these stickers because, number one, I can label my batteries. So I have my batteries number 1, number 2, number 3. That way I can circulate them, you know, on a regular basis, and I know which battery to use. So not only did I do that, when I got them, the hole is plugged in, right? So I peel out the sticker. So like this one's number 3, right? I peel out that 3 and I take that 3 and I put it right there. So I know this is battery number 3. Same thing, number 2. Put number 2 right there. So I can just look from the top of my case and see which battery, and I'll go, you know, battery number 1, battery number 2, battery number 3, and I circulate them. And the stickers I got even came with stickers for the remote. So I have the blue carbon fiber stickers for my remote too, on the top and the bottom, the front, along with a screen protector I got over the top of this. This is how big the remote is. I mean, you flip this out and your phone goes in between here, and that's where you see your video from. I bet Scuba want. What are y'all talking about? I'm missing it. DeMillan saying something.
She wants to know if you can fly it in the house.
Yes, I can fly it in the house. Let me see if I can show you all this case. This case is water cut foam, so you can see that they cut this out to fit that drone perfectly. And my remote's already in there. There's the battery sitting right there, and I got charging cables and different stuff in other slots in here. But yeah, there is a mode called tripod mode, which allows you to fly the drone really slowly, like it moves at 2 miles an hour, and you can fly through the house that way. I don't want to fly through the house. Fly through the house. Hey, let me show y'all me filming the house. No, there's no need for that. What about trick drones? Dave, I honestly couldn't give you a good opinion on that. There's a lot of them out there, a lot of them. Keep it away from R2. I will keep it away from R2, Aries. There's so many trick drones out there. Some of them have good cameras, some of them have bad cameras. Some of them fly good, some of them fly bad. That's going to be up to you to do the research to find out which one's the best racing drone. I don't recommend jumping. Now, a racing drone's a lot harder to fly than that is. This drone, if I take off the ground and I let go of the joysticks, it stays right there. It does not move. It'll sit there and hover right there. It won't move. So that's why I'm saying This drone right here is probably going to be one of the best ones you get. And you don't have to, you know what? Don't buy the Mavic. Buy something like the Phantom 3 Advanced or Phantom 3 Pro, because the regular Phantom 3 is Wi-Fi only, and you only going to have Wi-Fi range. So basically, what, 1,000 feet away from you before the Wi-Fi goes away? So if you get the Advanced or the Pro Phantom 3, which is only about $100 more, then you can fly really far. Not as far as the Mavic. This Mavic, I can fly this 4.3 miles away from me because it uses OcuSync technology for the video and the RC remote. So as long as I don't have any obstructions, I can fly that drone every bit of 4.3 miles. Just me at my house flying over the trees. The farthest I've ever been is 16,000 feet, which I forget how many miles that is, but that's pretty close. 16,000 feet is the farthest I've been with my drone away from me. That was just a test.
3.5, 3.75 miles, somewhere in there.
Okay, that's the farthest I've been with the drone so far. I have not tried it over the water, which the water would be the best test because there's no obstruction. Here, I'm in the middle of town with all the Wi-Fi signals and cell phone towers and trees, and I still got 3.5 miles out. That was one of the first flights I did with the drone. I took it way out to test the range, and it works. It really works good, so. Yeah, that was cool. 0.03 miles. Oh, okay. 3.03. Thank you, Munchkin. Okay, so I went a little over 3 miles. That, to me, to be able to fly a drone 3 miles away is insane. I mean, have you ever had a remote control car that you could drive 3 miles away? Hell no. Or any kind of airplane that you could fly 3 miles away? Hell no. So, yeah, I think 3 miles is excellent. Especially like in the conditions that I just said. During the winter when there's not as much foliage on the tree, that's when I tested it, and that's when I got to 16,000 feet. And honestly, if my battery power wasn't running out, I could have went even further. So if I'm here in the winter and I can try that, then I'll try the test again to see how far I can get, if I can get to 16,000 feet. Well, when I got my Mavic Pro, it was actually really hard for me to get because I pre-ordered the thing with one certain company, and all these other people were getting their drones, and I was still waiting. I ordered the thing like 6 to 9 months before I ever got it. I end up finding it on, what is that, InStockNow.com. I got one of those alerts, and it says, hey, Best Buy has them in stock. And I went to Best Buy, and it says, hey, we ship it next day, free shipping. I was like, really? Buy it now. And it literally, they shipped it the next day. It took me 2 days to get it, I think. Free shipping, and I was happy. They didn't have the Fly More combo, but they had the drone and the remote. So I bought the batteries separately and waited for them to come in. And I've been happy with it, dude. No problem. The Spark is a cheaper way to go, but it's just as stable as the Mavic, but it only does 1080p. So if you're looking at it for video quality, you want to go at least with the Mavic because the Mavic is 4K. So the Spark is only 1080p, even though you can use the Force to control it and make it land and all that, which is cool, but the Phantom 5 will probably come out by December, and that's probably going to be the drone to get. I would hold off for that, and I would assume it's going to be anywhere between $1,300 to $1,500, and that's the one I would jump on, the Phantom 5. It's going to have probably retractable landing gear and a Humpty Dumpty 4K camera that does 240 frames per second or something. That'll be the one to get. It'll have the best camera. The good thing, you know, they came out with a Mavic Pro Platinum now. This is the regular Mavic Pro. They just came out with the Mavic Pro Platinum, which is supposedly 40% quieter than this one, and the only difference is the propellers. So I could basically buy the new propellers and make mine that quiet. So am I going to buy the new one? Heck no. I may buy the propellers though. Yes, you can use the Force, Munchkin. If you haven't watched any videos on the DJI Spark, basically, alright, this is the way the Spark works. The Spark works where you can, if you buy just the Spark, you can control it with your phone using Wi-Fi and some virtual remote sticks on your phone, okay? If you pay for the Fly More package, it comes with a remote. Then the drone will reach 1.3 miles away from you. Or you can fly the drone using your face and hands. In other words, there's a power button on the back of the Spark. You hit it, and what it does is it locks onto your face. As soon as it detects your face, it takes off and hovers in front of you. If you wave at it, it'll fly 10 to 20 feet away from you and film you. And then you can tell it to take pictures or whatever. And then you can wave back at it, and it'll come right next to you, and you hold your hand under it, and it'll land. Now, while it's flying, you can also hold your hand out. It'll see your hand and lock onto it. And if you move your hand to the left, the drone will move to the left and right and up and down. You can control the drone by moving your hand. That's what I mean by using the Force. That's how the Spark works. But, like I said, it's only 1080p. I'm losing my voice. Oh my God. My voice is going. It must be time for me to go. It's 11 o'clock. Well, the Mavic Pro Platinum, Brittany, it's hard for me to tell you to buy the Platinum. Either way, the Mavic, I think, especially if it's something, if you're thinking about it as far as being able to travel with it, get the Mavic, no question. If size is no matter to you, go with the Phantom 4 or sound. The Phantom 4 is definitely louder than this, a lot louder than this. So when the propellers are going on the Phantom, it's loud. That's very quiet. If I fly that thing up 50, 60 feet, you can't even hear it. You won't even know I'm filming you. So that's why I like the Mavic. Anyways. Okay, now that I've gave y'all my whole drone story, not even vape related whatsoever.
That was cool though.
If y'all do decide to buy a drone, let me know first. I do have a affiliate link y'all can click on, and I earn money when y'all buy a drone, just saying. If people buy a Mavic, I get like 65 bucks, which is a great deal. You're not paying any more money at all for the drone, but I make 65 bucks. I'm like, heck yeah, I can get a free battery, or, well, batteries are $89. I'd have to throw in some money with it, but
yes, I do.
TBD, that's a great idea because they always do deals for Black Friday. I would definitely watch out for Black Friday on DJI's website. I think DJI right now makes the best drone out there, hands down. I got lots of little crap. Hell, I got a drone I won. Here it is. I haven't even flown it yet. This is called the Vanguard. I won this off a Ken Herron show, which is, he flies the Phantom 4 Pro all the time. I've never even flown this drone. It's still brand new in the box. But this doesn't have GPS tracking or anything like that, and it's got a crappy camera. And this is probably like a $50 drone. It's not even close to what the Mavic does. Not even close. You'd have to fly a cheap one, like one of them $20 ones you can buy at the store, and see how bad it goes all over the place, and then fly this and realize that that thing does not move until you touch the control. Then you'll know what I'm talking about. Speak and talk anytime he wants to.
I've been trying. You keep talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not hear you talk. Go for it.
Well, now I'm not. Don't have anything to say.
Oh, that's some bullcrap. Now I don't have nothing to say.
Yeah, my kid, I do breed bulldogs, but I also do photography, and vaping has turned into a major hobby for me now. So Jamil was asking me a couple questions about vaping, or what hobbies I had.
Oh, okay.
But Scuba, I do have a question for you on the drone, because that's something I've been actually looking at for a while.
Okay.
What will the Mavic take still pictures, or is it just the movies?
Yes. No. It will take 12 megapixel still pictures. So when you fly the drone up, it has a button on there. You can switch between video mode and picture mode. You can either hit a button on the remote to take a picture, or if you put it in follow me mode, you can do a hand gesture like this, and it'll wait 3 seconds and take your picture. So either way, you can take a picture. So yes, you can take pictures and do video, both.
Oh, that's very cool. So, what format does it put the movies in and pictures in?
Excellent question. It asks you. You have the choice between MOV or MP4 format. So either one of those two that you want to do. The pictures I think are all JPG. I've never taken a picture in RAW. You can do RAW pictures, like if you want to do post editing, but I've never done that, so I don't know. But yeah, you can do video in MP4 and MOV format. I usually do mine in MP4, and you can record. I think 1080p is the lowest you can go, all the way up to 4K. Now, you can zoom in with any one of those modes except 4K. If you're in 4K, you can't. You know, like usually you pinch on the screen and move your fingers out and it zooms in. That works on every mode except 4K. You cannot zoom when you're in 4K. Other than that, you're good to go. AVI. No, AVI is not available, Aries. It does not have a option for AVI. Just MOV and MP4.
Is MOV and MP4, is that importable into video editing software? I'm trying to remember the name.
Well, the video editing. Well, my video editing, I use Movavi Video Editor, or you can use Photoshop, or what's that big one? I don't know. Whatever it's called. Any one of those you can use for video. Adobe, but the other big thing is each one of those modes have different frame rates. So if you pick 4K, you have like a 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. And as you move down, like if you go down to 1080p, it has like 24 frames per second, 30, 60, 120, 240 frames per second. So you can do slow motion. But to be honest, I don't think the camera can handle that really slow or really fast frame rate, so I don't ever use that stuff. The drone itself, though, is, I mean, I got this big. Here, I'll show you another drone I got. This is the Parrot. This is the version 2, I believe, of the Parrot. I got this drone. This has a nice camera on the front. This whole top comes off, and inside you got a USB connector and the battery. This drone doesn't even touch the Mavic, not even close. This drone is Wi-Fi only, so basically what happens is this drone will go out of signal range, and then you better hope you get control of it. Number two, the motors, I don't know if you can see, but a separate gear right here, this little bitty gear, controls the big gear. So if that ever strips, you have no motor control right there. It does have 2 sensors on the bottom, but there's no GPS in this. So it's basically trying to judge the ground and not hit the ground. It's an okay drone, but these are like 200 bucks. I'd much rather spend a little bit more money and get a nice drone. The Mavic will not disappoint you. I mean, dude, the technology that's in this little bitty sucker right here is outstanding.
That does look like a very, very nice drone.
And it's just so small. You could take that anywhere and film with it. Just, I do recommend downloading an app like maybe Hover. It's free. That lets you know where the airports are so you don't accidentally fly in a no-fly zone. They also have the TPDs, which are temporary, or TF, wait, what do they call them? TFRs, temporary flight restriction. If the president is in town or something like that, you might get under a TFR. So you have to look those up to make sure you're not flying in an area that's restricted. Other than
what about national parks?
What about what?
What about national parks? Can you fly in those?
National parks are usually off limits to drones. Most national parks already have a flight restriction posted above it. There's a ways around it, but you're not supposed to fly there. You try a teal yet. Dave, what the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, what's a teal?
I have no idea.
Does it have everybody back?
I'm gonna have to label this one part 2. I thought we'd be off by now, but yeah, I absolutely love this drone. I wouldn't even have it if it wasn't help for the viewers out there. So I really appreciate it. That's why I try to go out all the time and film with it for you guys. I fly that thing all the time. If it's nice enough outside, I fly with it.
Yeah, what kind of weather can you not fly?
What can I not fly?
What kind of weather can you not fly in?
Okay, good question. If the wind is over 20 miles an hour, you probably don't want to fly in it. Just because the motors are going to have a hard time keeping up with the wind. I have seen people fly in that kind of weather, but you're going to use a lot of battery fighting the wind, because you got to think, the drone is trying to keep its GPS location. The wind is blowing against the drone. So it's having to use its motors to stay where it's at. So you'll hear the motors pick up, trying to stay where it's at. And it does a great job at it. So I would say fly in areas that are below 20 miles an hour in wind. You can't fly within 5 miles of an airport. Other than that, you can't fly over 400 feet. You're supposed to stay below 400 feet, and you're supposed to stay within line of sight. That rule right there, I kind of negate some. I think that's a bullcrap rule.
That works out here.
Huh?
There's too many trees here. I wouldn't be able to see it. There's too many trees here.
Exactly. I just don't believe a lot in the no line of sight is crap. That's a crap rule. And they're basically guidelines. They're not laws, okay? The only law really, I think, would be the no-fly zone, like flying over airports, which I totally agree with. And that one you should, as long as you don't disobey that one, you should be fine. Or the height limit. You don't want to go over 400 feet. You got crazy people on YouTube taking their Mavic up to like 4,000 or 5,000 feet in the air. That is ridiculous, okay? You're risking not only your drone, but you're risking maybe a Cessna pilot's life by flying it that high. If they come by with their plane and hit that drone, it could knock their engine out and bring them down. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, we've got a ton of air traffic over our house, so I definitely have to be careful with that.
Yeah, but see, there's different flight zone classes, alright? Class G, Class B, C, D, there's all different classes. At 400 feet and below, there should be no plane flying 400 feet or below. Should not be happening whatsoever. So you should be fine. You got a few?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if they fly below that level, wow, Big Lou went live. Or he's live now, actually. Wow. I don't know how much of the show he watched, but he did come in for a minute. Oh, I see. Dave sent me a link to tealdrones.com. All right, I'm going to the link, but I can tell you right now, it looks cute. It looks like the arms fold up on it. If it doesn't use GPS, my Mavic picks up between 17 to 21 satellites every time I take off. The return to home literally lands within 6 inches of where it took off from. This says it's 0 to 60 in 1.1 seconds, stable in 40 miles an hour wind. It can do up to 70 miles an hour. Wow. So it can only go 300 feet away from you, and at the most it can go 2,500 feet. Hobby controller compatible 2-mile range. The range of my drone is double that, with no extra. That's $1,299? Are you kidding me? No, thank you. $1,299 for that Teal drone. And my drone beats it in every way except the speed. No, I'm good. Why would you want to, especially if you're doing cinematic footage, why would you want to fly at 60 miles an hour? I don't know.
No.
Exactly. Not only, okay, let me speak a little bit about the return to home feature. All right, return to home. When you take off with this drone, the best thing to do is fly up about 40 feet straight up. It takes a picture of the ground. It knows exactly where it was. Then you can go fly wherever you want. I could be 3 miles away. I hit return to home. It'll come back to the exact spot where it took off. Now, it also has return to me, which means it'll return to where the controller is, okay? Very important, like if you're flying from a boat. So say you take off from a boat and you move spots. So what you would do is, if you're in a boat, you would go somewhere and you would stop. And then you would hit return to home and it would pick where your remote is and come back to that spot. Make sure that you update that. Now they just came out with a new firmware that has dynamic home return. What that is every 15 seconds, it figures out where you are. So if you're in a boat, every 15 seconds it takes a new home point. So as long as you haven't moved between the last 15 seconds, it comes back to that spot. Excellent for people that like flying this off of a boat. That's a new feature they just added. I don't want that feature. I'm not updating just to get that feature. It also has quick shot, which is fast picture mode and some other stuff, but I don't care about those features. I like my drone on the firmware it's on now because I have a little more control over what I can do with it. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, there's stuff you can do with older firmware that you can't do with newer firmware. I'll put it that way.
So you put an update on there the other day, and I guess yesterday you were flying it. You can only get 30 meters?
Well, okay, that is what they call the beginner bug. For some reason, when you change your firmware on the DJI lately, the drone thinks you're in beginner's mode. So you're supposed to reboot the drone, put it in beginner mode, and turn beginner mode back off, and it's supposed to fix it. But mine still keeps thinking it's in beginner's mode. But since I have mine to where it don't give a darn about that, it still lets me fly. Otherwise, I would be stuck. I could only fly 30 feet away from me, 30 meters, and it would stop me. So I gotta figure out why it's doing that, but I'll fix it. The Mavic 2. Well, Dave, there's no such thing as a Mavic 2 yet. There's a Mavic Platinum. Basically, there's a 3-minute difference in flight time. There's only 2 differences in the new Mavic. Okay, this is the Mavic I have. The Mavic Platinum has 40% quieter motors because of the propellers, and it has maybe a 2 to 3 minute longer flight time. That's it, and the whole reason for the flight time is those different propellers. So you can buy the regular Mavic, buy the new propellers, you're done. You don't even need to buy. The only difference besides that is the color. They didn't change the camera, they didn't change nothing else. Look at that big old bulldog, goodness gracious.
This is my boy. He's 70 pounds.
Chuck, excellent question. I am using the 700 firmware. I was on 800 for the longest time. This is my problem with 800. It kept asking me to update the no-fly zones. So I said, yes, update the no-fly zones. I had no problem with no-fly zones. And it would go to 20% and get stuck there every freaking time. So I upgraded to the 1000 software. Then it said, hey, you need to update your no-fly zone. I said, okay, update. 20%, stuck again. I said, you know what, screw you. I downgraded to 0.0700. No problem. Now it asks me, hey, you need to update your no-fly zone. Ignore. That's what I hit, ignore. Because it messes it up every time. I know my no-flow zones because I check it before I fly every time. If you know you're flying in a legal area, you're good to go. Number two, if you try to take off in a no-fly zone, it won't let you. If I go near an airport and try to take off, it will say, cannot take off. The drone literally will not let you take off if you're near an airport. Which I think is great of DJI to do that because you don't need to be flying near a damn airport. You need a bulldog? Whatever. Alright. Well, I don't have time to build anything else. I gotta say though, the OMEC is vaping great. The Mod Father would be if I would have rebuilt it. I have seen a lot of people with Kylan problems. Even Pat was telling me about his Kylan problems. The Kylan is very susceptible to leaking if it has a bad seal. Very, very susceptible to leaking. So, if you have a leaking problem with the Kylan, which I know she does, I haven't checked it yet, because her mod keeps getting juice inside of it. So, if you have a leaking problem with your Kylan, break it all the way down. Check every one of the seals. There's probably something you're missing. One of them has a crack in it, a warped spot, who knows? And it will make this thing leak like a sieve. So,
when mine was leaking, I just replaced all of them, and that stopped the leak.
Exactly. See, you instead of you trying to figure out which seal it was, you replaced all of them. So you know you had the you already know. Hey, I had to have fixed the problem because I replaced all of them. Me, I'm crazy like that. I'll try to find out which one it was that was leaking. So I will sit there and go through each seal to find out, did this fix it? Nope. Next seal. Did this fix it? Nope. Next seal. Which probably would waste a lot of juice trying to find it, but yeah, you know, Aries, I can see where you can say then it wasn't done right. This is my thing, and I've said it on previous shows. If you get a new tank in, a new RTA especially, make sure, take it apart and put e-juice on every one of the seals. Because what happens is, as you screw the tank back together, why is my live stream offline? What the heck is going on with my stream?
Are you offline again?
I was for a second. Alright, I'm back now. So what I was saying is, you have to put e-juice on all your seals, because what happens is when you go to screw the tank back together, if those seals are dry, it will rip those seals as you tighten it back up. Oh, okay. Thanks, Aries. So if you get a new tank in, and especially if you know it's one of them dry tanks, you'll know because it'll feel all crusty. Put e-juice on all the seals you see. Every one of them, put e-juice around it. It don't have to be a lot. Put it all back together. That mod will work flawlessly. It needs that little bit of lubrication. It's like basically running an engine with no oil in it. Anytime you don't have any oil in an engine, it causes friction and breakdown, and your motor will end up knocking. Same way with the tank. If you don't put that e-juice on those seals, causes friction, breakdown of those seals, leak problems happen. So always grease up your seals with e-juice. It doesn't have to be any, I mean, preferably the e-juice you're going to be vaping in it. That would be the best one to use. But that's going to stop all that cutting of the O-rings and stuff. That's going to break it down. I'm about to get off right now, Fictitious. I appreciate everybody coming out, and I'm sorry that my cast screwed up and then came back on. And it's been a long night for me, and I'm ready to go to bed. But I appreciate everybody coming out. I really appreciate Speed coming in here tonight, hanging out, having a good time. And I hope I answered all y'all's drone questions.
Ooh,
if y'all ever had any questions about DJI drones, feel free to contact me. I don't mind answering any questions. I'm not hiding anything. I think it is a great, great drone. Of course, it's not cheap, but it's well worth the price, I think. Excellent drone. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. I will catch you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace out. Y'all have a good one. And stay safe tomorrow on September 23rd, because we don't know what's going to happen. So watch your back.
Thanks to everybody.